Welcome to today's video. This is a B1 level speaking lesson. We're going to be talking about life in Australia. So here's some pictures that have to do with Australia. So this is the Australian flag. This is a view of Sydney, a map of Australia, and the outdoor lifestyle. These are some famous landscapes and landmarks. The Daintree rainforest, the Great Sandy Desert, Three Sisters in the Blue Mountains, Snowy Mountains, and Karijini National Park. All right, welcome to Sydney. There's some views around Sydney. Sydney's Chinatown, downtown Sydney, Lakemba, a suburb in Sydney, a terrace house in Sydney, and Circular Quay. I can enjoy the outdoors in Sydney. It's a beachside suburb, playing football, ocean swimming, eastern suburbs boardwalk, and playing cricket. And what else can you find in Australia? It's a bottlebrush tree, eucalyptus trees, Australian marsupials, Wiley's Baths, a town in the Blue Mountains, and a black cockatoo. All right, so you can pause the video and read on your own, or you can follow along as I read. My name's Chris, and I live in Sydney, Australia. Sydney is the largest city in Australia. Australia is a huge island, and it is also a continent. Most people in Australia live in large cities on the coast. The first people to live in Australia were Aborigines. They came here about 50,000 years ago. Today, Australia has many immigrants. People come from many different countries to live here. People in Australia speak English. Some people think it is always hot in Australia. However, it is a large country and it gets cold in some places. There are deserts and rainforests too. We do not have big rivers, so we must be careful about how much water we use. We have mountains too, like the Great Dividing Range, but they are not tall compared with mountains in Europe and Asia. Like most people here, I work 5 days a week. I live in a beachside suburb and I travel to work by bus. Most Australians go to work by car. I work in downtown Sydney. I usually eat my lunch at the quay, where I have a beautiful view of the famous Opera House and Harbour Bridge. At night, I return to my apartment. Winter is short in Australia, so I can usually go for a run or swim after work. Some of my friends surf, and some play Australian football too. I swim at Wiley's Baths, a saltwater pool. At the weekend, I often go to the Blue Mountains. Here you can see eucalyptus trees. Many tourists come to this area to see the Three Sisters and other wonderful scenery. If I have time, I go hiking with friends. In Australia, we have many unusual animals called marsupials. A baby marsupial lives for some time in its mother's pouch, which looks like a pocket. Some famous Australian animals are the kangaroo, the koala, and the platypus. All right, so now think about these questions. What places can you see in Australia? What animals live in Australia? Who are the Australian Aborigines? What kind of house did you see? And what do people do at the weekend? And you can practice answering out loud in order to practice your speaking skills. All right, so again, you can practice your speaking skills. Try to use complete sentences. Talk about where Australia is, what size it is, which language, the kinds of animals, the places you can visit. What can you say about Australia? What can you see or do in Sydney? What do people like to do on the weekend and where do they go? And if I visit Australia, what will you visit and what will you do in Australia? And that brings us to the end of today's video. Please like, subscribe, share, and leave a comment. Help us we're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. So help us do that. Thanks for watching. Bye.